Hello, true duelists. My name's Craigpinions, and welcome to the new card report. It feels like it was just 2 weeks ago that we learned the last of the new cards from Age of Overlord, and if you watch this channel, that's because my daily video shtick I was going for made that to be the case. But time marches eternal, and who gives a shit about that? We've got new Yubel cards from the upcoming OCG set, Phantom Nightmare. So eat it up, GX fans. It's good times. Let's go look at that Uniboob. Starting with the sort of a retrain, we've got Spirit of Yubel, a level 10 Dark Fiend with 0 attack and defense and 4 effects. Hot damn. The first will let you special this from your hand when your opponent declares an attack, and the second makes it indestructible by battle, and you'll take no battle damage from battles involving it. Battle, battle, battle. It will also take a spell or trap that mentions Yubel from your deck on summon and either add it to your hand or set it to your field, so it's a plus. And lastly, if it's destroyed, it can summon a copy of the OG Yubel from your hand, deck, grave, or banished pile. It floats. It's not a bad start. It can summon itself, although it does require the opponent, and it searches the new support to get, the support. Plus, it incorporates the original monster if it's destroyed, and that's important for the people who like the OG cards. And it's a mirror to Spirit of Neos. That's for lore reasons, I can assume, but it also makes for the potential for a thumbnail that, you'd see on the worst ever debate channel to ever appear in your recommended. That's the type of shit that would be on the thumbnail, so it does have that going for it. Overall, it's playable, if only as a way to get Yubel out easier, which I suppose is the purpose of a Yubel deck, isn't it? Congrats on that one, Konami. You passed the lowest possible bar you ever could with this one. Good on ya. Up next is Geist Grinder Golem, the single greatest card out of all the support, because it means we get to hear Lithium say Grinder Golem again. And you know what? That was like the one redeeming quality of Spiral format, so we're taking it and running, folks. This level 8 Dark Fiend has the classic 3000 attack and 300 defense that the original had, or I'm assuming that to be the case because I did not verify it. It can only summon itself once per turn though, so I wonder what could have possibly caused that clause. This one can reveal a Yubel monster in your hand to summon itself to your opponent's field, and then will summon the revealed Yubel monster to your field. Nice. It'll also give the opponent 3,000 life points if it battles an opponent's Yubel monster, which, since that's activating under the opponent's control, you're the opponent in that case. So basically, if you battle it with your Yubel, you gain 3k life. Cool. And if it's in your graveyard and you special summon a Yubel monster to your field, you can special this from your grave back to the opponent's field. I don't know exactly why you'd want to do that, but you can. You can do that. And look at that. It's another way to get that level 10 on field. It's almost like they know what they're doing with this support. It's a hell of a lot weaker than the original, but the original is only so good because links were so bad when paired with it. Bad in the good way, of course. The fact you gain life points from battling it is neat. I don't know if Yubel decks need life points a lot. Not going to pretend to be an expert on them. But if nothing else, it'll shut off things like Evenly Matched and Lightning Storm, so that's some nice copium if nothing else. Even if, they have to get a 3 KP. It's fine. It's fine, because Lithium is going to be saying Grinder Golem again, and that's a fucking win. Yubel also gets a Samsara regenerating Lotus, which is how I'm learning that the original was part of Yubel's cards. Clearly, I didn't watch this anime. I just know it for the jank FTK Topologic Bomber Dragon shenanigans in 2018, so it's news to me. Still, our new level 1 Dark Fiend has 0 attack and defense, and it's just fucking Lone Fire Blossom. Tribute it to summon a Yubel from the deck. It also has the effect that during the opponent's turn, you can tribute it to change an opponent's monster effect to be destroy 1 Yubel on the field instead. But no shock, you'll need to control a Yubel monster in order to do that. And you might think that's, well, dumb, but both its effects are, conflicting, but it's okay because, regardless of how and when you want to tribute it, it can summon itself during the end phase if you control a Yubel monster. So you can use its effect, or maybe just keep your OG Yubel alive because it has a maintenance cost for whatever reason, because I guess 2007 card design was just bad like that. It's pretty cool, I guess. A Samsara Lotus that's not part of an FTK. The deck it's in might not be good, but it's good in it. Lone Fire that revives to proc your effects. I'm sure no one could ask for much more. Except for an explanation as to why it is this visibly a plant monster is not a plant, and why it is it has King Raru's arm, because I thought that was on Link. Haha, get it? Tears of the Kingdom. Cool. And up next isn't just a new Yubel fusion monster, it's a way for me to piss off my German-speaking audience, because here we go, it's Yubel das ewig lieb Watcha. Why did it go Watcha? Who fucking knows? Das ewig lieb Watcher. I don't know. I don't care. I've been told that's wrong in German anyway, so me saying it wrong and it being wrong is it's actually more appropriate for me to be butchering the language. Oh, it's a fusion Yubel, needing a Yubel monster and one or more monsters on the field to summon, which of course makes the whole world think super Ploymerization. It's a level 12 Dark Fiend, again with 0 attack and defense, that on summon can burn the opponent for 500 damage for each of the fusion materials used to summon it, making it time and around. Cool. This is a Yubel, so it's indestructible by battle and card effect, and this one has the effect to take no damage from battles involving it, instead inflicting that damage to the opponent, and also banishing whatever monster it is it battles. The Yubel deck can finally make a play with some amount of impact. Only took 15 years. So let's be real. The effect is fine. It's Yubel. It can remove a problem monster in the battle phase. It can do some fine burn damage for game even, but we only care because this is like the best possible super Ploymerization target to date, just, you know, not generically. In its deck, it's pretty nutty. Every single monster on your opponent's field is a valid target for this with super Ploymerization, and that will make it playable in its deck for that alone. If you can get Yubel onto the field, or a Yubel monster, you're threatening super poly, whether it's, you know, Grinder Golem 2 or Lotus Fire, however the Yubel's hitting the field, it's a threat. It's a threat, and Lord knows super poly can ruin a duel. If you thought Garura was annoying, I suppose lore-wise it's pretty good that this sentence sucks. I think I'm trying to say that if you thought Garura was annoying against Super Poly, this shit's even worse, and that it's fitting that the monster from the show that debuted Super Poly would have the best Super Poly target. Who knows? This is disastrous. Let's just respect Konami for hiding that tasteful uniboob and move on to the next card. Nightmare Pain is a card I honestly kind of expected to be called Phantom Darkness, because that's kind of been a trend lately of naming cards old sets. Instead, it's just a continuous spell that during the main phase will let you destroy a dark monster on your field or in your hand to add one Yubel card or a card that mentions Yubel. Or I should specify one Yubel, like the original level 10, or a card that mentions it to your hand, and there's a once per turn on that. It also makes all your opponents attack every turn if they're able to, and it will make the opponent take any battle damage from any battles you would have involving your Yubel monsters. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Yubel changes damage to 0 in most cases, and this just supersedes that, so they would instead, you know, if they attack with 15, they'll take 15, even though Yubel says that the damage becomes 0. I'm assuming it's terrible and useless otherwise, so it's gotta be that case. It can search most of the deck, though, with the actual good effect, and makes your Yubels into the good version of Yubel that can actually damage the opponent while you wait for them to destroy it. So it's not too shabby. It'll be cool to, like, normal summon Armageddon Knight, and then you can send the new Lotus and then blow up the Knight to search out a Yubel, and then maybe you've got Grinder 2 and you can do plays. That's a sick way to try and proc this card's effect before getting a Gogurt. You know, Gogurt, Ghost Ogre. Can't win them all, I suppose, but that's not too shabby for Yubel support, right? Yeah. Mature Chronicle is another continuous spell for the deck, this one placing a Chronicle counter on itself every time a Yubel monster or monster that mentions Yubel is special summoned. And depending on how many counters you remove from it, depends on which effect you'll be getting. For 1, you can special summon a copy of the original Yubel from your graveyard. For removing 2, you can add any banished card back to your hand. For 3, you can banish any card from your deck. 4 will let you destroy 1 card on the field without targeting, and 5 will let you add super Ploymerization from deck to hand. Just a bit of escalation on that last effect there, huh? It goes from destroying 1 single card to searching one of the best board breakers this game has ever seen. Yeah, that's a smooth curve there. The effect to remove counters is of course once per turn, so you can't banish a card and also grab one back if you have enough counters, because, well, it's Yubel support. It can't all be good, can it? Overall, this card's pretty fucking mid, which is funny to say for a card that searches super Ploymerization, but in order to search it, you need to summon 5 times, which means you're putting yourself into Biru zone, and you're probably not going to super poly nib in a token. I can't imagine you are. It's interesting. I believe this is a reference to Spell Chronicle, or people are telling me that. I can't believe that to be true, though. Spell Chronicle isn't a reference to the anime or a card used by Yubel. Spell Chronicle is a card from
Phantom Darkness
that the competitive scene hyped into inflating the price of in the secondhand market to scam players, because that was a thing in like 2015 or so. So if it was ever used by Yubel, not anymore. Now it's a scam from like 8 years ago. And moving on from scams to trap cards, Eternal Favorite is a continuous trap that, wow, would you look at that, mentions Yubel, and therefore it's searchable with our new support. Thanks, Spirit of Yubel. This card has 2 effects. The first will let you summon one of your Yubel monsters from your grave or banished pile, and neither player can activate cards or effects in response to it, because this card doesn't let them do that. It's not too bad. The second effect is actually okay. It's Super Poly 2, kind of. The second effect will let you discard a card and send this face-up card to the graveyard to fusion summon one monster using monsters from either side of the field as material. The catch being, you need to use a Yubel monster as material for your fusion summon, but don't worry, it gets even worse, because to even use this effect, you have to control Yubel, as in specifically the level 10 Yubel Original 1 2007 Phantom Darkness Yubel. So it's a little yucky in its own deck, arguably, because you'd think you'd want your Yubel to be destroyed to go into the bigger forms, and as a generic engine in other decks, it's useless because no one's teching in Yubel as the single shittiest garnet to turn on a super poly. So in the grand scheme of the meta, it's been hindered and locked into its own deck, and in its own deck, it's kind of conflicting with what it wants to do. I mean, not exactly. It will let you get into the big new fusion. I'm just saying, it ain't perfect for its own deck. So there's that. And also the fact that you can't use both of these effects in one turn. You get one effect once per turn. So if you revive a Yubel, you can't then fuse with that Yubel using this card's effect. And if you're fusing with it, you can't have revived it. So it's not unplayable. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. It's called the Haunted Plus for the deck, and it will allow them to super poly in a way that the opponent can respond to, which is arguably more fair and balanced and fun overall. But it could have been nutty. Kinda nutty. Summon Spirit, set this, activate it, super poly the whole field. Sheesh. Probably a good thing they balanced this, actually. And so that's all the new Yubel cards we've seen thus far. Overall, pretty cool. There are cards to play here, and they've got synergy. Amazing. They incorporate the original cards that the deck is about while paying tribute to all of the originals in some other form to make them more playable, in the case of things like Samsara Lotus and Grinder Golem, who are banned. Did Samsara Lotus come back to 1? I don't remember. Either way, it's a beautiful, beautiful chance for us to hear Lithium say Grinder Golem again, and that is an absolute fact, and I'm in love with it. Fans of GX apparently really like that the trap has the word favorite in its name because it's searchable by the new Flame Wingman, and the censor artists in America will be really glad that the boob is hidden in like every single art, except for like maybe one, so a win for everyone? It's a fine start to what's been a bad deck, and at least it gave them a starter that's better than Mystic Tomato Crash, because I think that was like the best opening in Yubel decks prior to this. Could be wrong, but funny to think about regardless. There's no other choice in regards to appreciating these cards or not, because these are the cards we got, and we just have to deal with them. And with that out of the way, we can thank today's sponsor, the LIFD Magnetic Display, the #1 way to support my channel and the true Duelist-approved way to show off your favorite cards. Like these, because I wrote the script and I wasn't sure how many Yubel cards I had, and it turns out I have 2, but really I have 3, because like I said, Tomatoes, it's an honorary Yubel card. And now I've been inspired to make Tomato Town the deck, just Tomato crashing and floating into everything that it can possibly summon, and then when I inevitably lose because this strategy was unplayable in 2007, let alone in 2023, I can say that it's a Tomato Town massacre, and reference a meme for a game I've never played that the meme itself was like 5 years old at this point. It's gonna be great. Tomato Town, here I come. And you know where you can come? You can come to Yugioh Strats to get a 15% discount on a beautiful display for any of your favorite cards by using Yugioh Strats 15 to get 15% off, or have the discount automatically apply clicking the link in the description of this video. Thanks to LIFD for the support as always, and thank you for watching. So that'll wrap it up for this new card report, just covering the Yubel cards in this one. I'll cover that last Memento card in another video for time's sake. Spoiler alert, nothing special. Either way, the regular update will be out on Friday. And until then, you can subscribe to Yugioh Strats for that update to impress your smoking Italian wife, and so you can become a true duelist.